Yeah, I'm so far behind on a lot of my video posting. But Rob Reiner had died last week, and I wanted to do like a video for him, but I had to do some more research. Um, Rob Reiner was a movie actor and a director and a filmmaker, and as an actor, he basically did a lot of movies. I loved him in the movie Wolf of Wall Street, where he played Leonardo DiCaprio's dad, and then he also directed the movie Stand by Me, which was a great movie, by the way, and I love that movie. But Rob Reiner was 78 years old, and supposedly, um, now I don't know the full story, but supposedly he got killed by his son because the son was acting up at a party, and Rob Reiner called him out on it, saying that his behavior was unacceptable and that he did not want to see any more of that, something like that. And supposedly the son killed him over that. And not only did the son kill Rob Reiner, but he also killed his own mother too. Um, so Rob Reiner was born March 6, 1947. He died December 14th of 2025, which was, like I said, a week ago. He was an American filmmaker and actor. He directed a series of acclaimed American studio films across multiple genres. He received numerous accolades, including winning 2 Primetime Emmy Awards and a Hugo Award, as well as nominations for an Academy Award, a BAFTA Award, and 9 Golden Globes. Reiner was honored with his own Hollywood star on the Walk of Fame in 1999, and he received the Chaplin Gala tribute at the Film at Lincoln Center in 2014. 3 of his films have been inducted into the National Film Registry. Now, Reiner was born in New York City to parents Estelle and Carl Reiner, who were themselves actors. Reiner began his career as an actor before transitioning into filmmaking. He initially rose to prominence as an actor portraying the character Meathead on the CBS sitcom All in the Family, which is a show that I've never seen and never got into. Just sometimes certain shows just don't interest me. Um, but I did like him in Wolf of Wall Street. That's like I was saying before. And then he was also in a comedy where he played a character named Bob Day in the Fox sitcom called New Girl, which ran from 2012 to 2018. But for his role in All the Family, that role earned him 2 Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. And he would play the character Albert Schooner in the FX on Hulu drama series called the Bearer. Oh, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that Carl Reiner was Rob Reiner's father. Okay. I even though I do know the name. Okay, now Rob Reiner directed a string of critically acclaimed films, starting with the heavy metal mockumentary called "This Is Spinal Tap," followed by the romantic road comedy The Sure Thing, which came out in 1985, and then you had the coming of age drama film Stand by Me in 1986. The adventure romance The Princess Bride of 1987, and the romantic comedy When Harry Met Sally back in 1989. Then he also directed the psychological thriller Misery in 1990 and the legal drama film A Few Good Men in 1992, which was also a pretty good movie, so was Misery. Um, which was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Picture in the political romance The American President in 1995. He also acted in films such as Sleepless in Seattle, Bullets Over Broadway, The First Wives Club, Primary Colors, ED TV, and The Wolf of Wall Street, which he also starred in. And he also co-founded the production company called Castle Rock Entertainment in 1987. Now Reiner was a Democratic political activist who advocated for causes such as the LGBTQ rights, and then he also the early childhood education and environmental protection, and he campaigned for a variety of Democratic candidates. Now Reiner chaired the 1998 campaign to pass California's first 5 childhood education initiative. Um, and in 2008 he and his wife Michelle co-founded the American Foundation for Equal Rights, which initiated the court challenge against California's same-sex marriage. On November 14th of 2025, Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle were found stabbed to death in their Los Angeles home. Their son Nick has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for murdering his parents. Now, Rob Reiner was born into a Jewish family in the Bronx, New York City on March 6, 1947. His parents were the actors Estelle and Carl Reiner. His siblings are poet, playwright, and author Annie Reiner, and painter, actor, and director Lucas Reiner. Now, during his childhood, Reiner lived at 48 Bonnie Meadow Road in New Rochelle, New York. And Reiner did not have a middle name. His mother did not have a middle name, and his father didn't have one either, so they didn't give him one. Now, Reiner made his television acting debut at the age of 14 on the series Manhunt. He attended Beverly Hills High School and studied at the UCLA Film School. At the age of 19, Reiner and actor Larry Bishop were part of an improv group, and they performed as the opening act for Carmen McRae at the Hungry One Club in San Francisco. In the early 1960s, Reiner served as a trainee and apprentice at the Bucks County Playhouse in New Hope, Pennsylvania. He is credited as Robert Reiner with the non-speaking role of Thomas, the horse wrangler, in a season 5 episode of Wagon Train, the Lieutenant Burton story starring Dean Jones, which aired on February 27th of 1962. In the 1960s, Reiner acted in bit roles in several different television shows, including Batman, Batgirl. He had an appearance on the Andy Griffith Show, Room 222, Gomer Pyle, USMC, and the Beverly Hillbillies. Now, during this period, he also appeared in several films, including some directed by his father, such as Where's Papa, which came out in 1970. He began his career in television writing for the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour in 1968-1969, working alongside Steve Martin and Carl Gottlieb as writing partners. Now, 2 years later, in 1970, Rob Reiner became widely known for playing Michael Stivic, also known as Meathead, playing Archie Bunker's Democratic son-in-law on Norman Lear's 1970s situation comedy All in the Family, which was adapted from the British sitcom Till Death Do Us Apart. The series was the most watched television program in the United States for 5 consecutive seasons from 1971 to 1976. Now, the character's nickname, Meathead, given to him by his cantankerous father-in-law Archie, became closely associated with Reiner, even after he left the role and established himself as a director. Reflecting on the enduring association, Reiner remarked, "I could win the Nobel Prize, and they'd write Meathead wins the Nobel Prize." And for his performance, Reiner won 2 Emmy Awards, and he received 3 additional nominations and earned 5 Golden Globe Awards. In October of 1971, Reiner appeared as a guest in an episode of The Partridge Family. That following year, Reiner, Phil Michigan, and Jerry Eisenberg created the situation comedy The Super for ABC. Starring Richard S. Castellano, the series depicted the life of a harried Italian-American superintendent of a New York City apartment building. It ran for 1 season during the summer of 1972, and then Reiner's career would then turn to films. Beginning in 1980, Reiner established himself as a director of several successful Hollywood films, spanning across multiple different genres of films. His early works include cult classics such as the rock band mockumentary The Spinal Tap, the coming-of-age drama Stand By Me, which I love that movie, and that's a Stephen King film anyway, and the comedic fantasy The Princess Bride. He also appeared as a faux documentarian, Marty DeBurgi, in The Spinal Tap. He frequently collaborated with the film editor Robert Layton, who also worked on several films with fellow director and actor Christopher Guest. Now, Reiner directed a number of critically and commercially successful films throughout his company called Castle Rock Entertainment, and these would include the romantic comedy When Harry Met Sally, which has been ranked among the all-time best of its genre, the intense thriller Misery, for which Kathy Bates won the Academy Award for Best Actress, and his most and his most commercially successful work, the military courtroom drama Few Good Men, which starred Tom Cruise and Demi Moore, which was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Picture. Now, subsequent films directed by Reiner include the political romance The American President, 1995, and the courtroom drama The Ghost of Mississippi. Now, Reiner would continue to act in supporting roles in a number of films and television works, including Throw Mama from the Train, Sleepless in Seattle, Bullets Over Broadway, and The First Wives Club. Now, Reiner went on to direct films such as The Story of Us in 1999 and Alex and Emma in 2001. Now, in which he also appeared in the uplifting comedy The Bucket List. He also appeared in the films Primary Colors in 1998 and EDTV 1989. And then Reiner paraded himself with cameos in works such as Dickie Roberts, the former child star 2003, and also appeared on 30 Rock in 2010. Decades after All in the Family, Reiner would return to television with a recurring role on New Girl, which ran from 2012 to 2018, and in 2013, Reiner played Leonardo DiCaprio's father in the Martin Scorsese film The Wolf of Wall Street. In 2015, he directed the semi-autobiographical film Being Charlie, which was co-written by his son Nick. He directed and played a major supporting role in the journalism drama Shock and Awe. But in November of 2023, Reiner and journalist Soledad O'Brien launched a 10-part podcast series titled Who Killed JFK. In December of 2023, Reiner opened the primetime CBS special Dick Van Dyke, 98 Years of Magic, with a tribute to and conversation with Dick Van Dyke himself. And just to let you know, Dick Van Dyke is still alive. He just turned 100 years old. I don't know if I would ever want to live that long. His final completed film, Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues 2025, was released 3 months before his death. In August of 2025, Reiner filmed Spinal Tap performing at Stonehenge for a concert film, Stonehenge, the final finale, with musical guests Eric Clapton, Shania Twain, and Josh Groban. Final finale was planned for a 2026 theatrical release, but currently it's on hold due to Reiner's death. Now we don't know who's going to take over for that one. Now, Reiner was a Democratic activist. He was a co-founder of the American Foundation for Equal Rights, which initiated the court challenge against California Proposition 8 that would ban same-sex marriage in the state. In 1998, Reiner chaired the campaign to pass California Proposition 10, the California Children and Families Initiative, which created First 5 California, a program. Let's see if I can get that light off a little bit here. Yeah, that light's kind of bright, but let me see here. Okay, so now Reiner, like I was saying, he chaired the campaign to pass California Proposition 10, the California Children and Families Initiative, which created 5 California, a program of early childhood development services funded by a tax on tobacco products. He served as the organization's first chairman from 1999 to 2006. He served as his lobbying, particularly as an anti-smoking advocate, led to his likeliness being used satirically in the South Park episode Butt Out, which he was depicted as morbidly obese and a hypocritical tyrant. Now, Reiner came under heavy criticism for campaigning for Proposition 82, which was a ballot measure to fund public free schools, while serving as chair of the First 5 Commission. He resigned from his position on March 29th of 2006. and all that later concluded that the commission had not violated state law and had clear legal authority to conduct public advertising campaigns related to free school. However, the auditor reported that the commission awarded more than $77 million in media contracts without reviving their costs. Proposition 82 ultimately failed to win any approval. Now, Reiner was a member of the Social Responsibility Task Force, an organization advocating moderation where social issues such as violence and tobacco use intersect with the entertainment industry. He was also active in environmental causes, successfully leading the effort to preserve California's um, a mountain ranch as a state park and wildlife refuge rather than as a commercial real estate development. In July of 2007, he introduced the reunited Spinal Tap at the London Live Earth concert. Reiner was mentioned as a possible candidate to run against California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger in 2006, but Reiner would decline for personal reasons. He was quoted as saying, "I don't want to be an elected official. I just want to get things done." He campaigned extensively for Democratic presidential nominee Al Gore in the 2000 presidential election, and he campaigned in Iowa for Democratic candidate Howard Dean ahead of the 2004 Iowa caucuses. He endorsed Hillary Clinton in the 2008 election, and in 2015 he donated $10,000 to correct the record, a political action committee supporting her 2016 presidential record and campaign. After the 2016 election, Reiner would continue his campaign against Donald Trump, calling Trump racist, sexist, anti-gay, and anti-Semitic, which are all true. He is. He remarked that Harvey Weinstein is a bad guy, but that Trump was also an abuser. Now, Reiner served on the advisory board of the committee to investigate Russia. He and David Frum launched the site in September 2017, accompanied by a video narrated by Morgan Freeman, warning that we are at war and that Russia had attacked the United States. And I do love Morgan Freeman as an actor too. Other advisory board members at the time of launch included James Clapper, Max Boot, Charles Sykes, and Norman Ornstein. By November of 2020, the board also included Evelyn Farkas, Michael Hayden, Michael Morrell, Leon Panetta, and Clint Watts. In 2020, Reiner had endorsed Joe Biden for president in the 2020 United States presidential election. But in June of 2021, Reiner announced he was developing a television project called The Spy and the Asset, and it was about the relationship between Trump and Vladimir Putin. And he said the series would explore the leaders' childhoods and trace their lives up to the point where they intersect. And Reiner said he was collaborating with writer Ward Perry on that project. In September 2025, Reiner gave an interview with CNN where he spoke out against Trump and the Federal Communications Commission, and he said, "It may be the first time you ever see me," in a reference to the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel Live. Rob Reiner married actress and director Penny Marshall in 1971. He adopted Michelle's daughter, actress Tracy, from her previous marriage to Michael, and Reiner and Marshall divorced in 1981. Now, while directing When Harry Met Sally, Reiner was introduced to photographer Michelle Singer. The media not only influenced his decision to change the film's ending, but it also led to their marriage in 1989, and they had three children, sons Jake. They had three kids. 2 sons and a daughter. The sons were Jake and Nick, and the daughter Romy. In 1997, Reiner and Singer founded the I Am Your Childhood Foundation, and in 2004 they established Parents Action for Children, a nonprofit organization with the dual purpose of raising awareness of the importance of child's early years by producing and distributing celebrity-hosted educational videos for parents and advancing public policy throughout parental education and advocacy. Now, Reiner said that he did not really follow that his childhood home was not observantly Jewish, although he did have a bar mitzvah. His father, Carl, had become an atheist in response to Hitler and the Holocaust, but Reiner identified as an atheist on the January 13, 2012 episode of Real Time with Bill Maher, at which Bill Maher is also an atheist anyway. He later stated that while he rejected organized religion, he was sympathetic to the idea of Buddhism. In September of 2025 interview with Piers Morgan, Reiner said, "I'm Jewish, but I believe the teachings of Jesus, and I believe in do unto others, and I believe in forgiveness. I do not. I don't believe in forgiveness. If somebody mistreats me, I do not forgive them." Rob and Michelle's oldest son, Jake, has been involved in filmmaking and was a news reporter in Houston, Texas. The second son, Nick, entered the first of a number of stays in drug rehab at the age of 14, cycling in and out of rehab subsequently for years. The youngest child, daughter Romy, is a filmmaker and had a very close relationship with both her parents. She was the one that discovered her father's body in their Brentwood home after the killing. On December 14th, on December 14th of 2025, Reiner, 78, and his wife Michelle were found dead in their Brentwood, Los Angeles home from sharp force injuries. A source revealed to the New York Times on December 16th that Romy discovered her father's body, but not her mother's, right away. But before fleeing her parents' home, Romy had gone to the house with her roommate. After the Reiners' massage therapist informed Romy that the couple had missed their appointment, and she was not aware that her mother was at home, and was later told of her mother's death. Now here's a picture of Rob Reiner and his son. God, the son looks fucking creepy. The kid looks like he's fucking high out of his mind in that picture. The Los Angeles Fire Department responded to a medical aid call at the residence of at 3:38 p.m. Shortly after phoning the police, Romy had called Billy Crystal, which was Reiner's longtime friend and collaborator, who rushed to the home to be with his wife. On that same day, Los Angeles police arrested the Reiner son Nick near the University of Southern California on suspicion of murder. And Nick had been living with his parents at the time, but Rob and Nick had an argument. Rob and Nick had attended the Christmas party hosted by Conan O'Brien on the evening of December 13th, and they had an argument. Nick had been disruptive at the party and had made guests feel uneasy. Now, sources who attended the party had who wished to remain anonymous told the New York Times that the loud argument between Nick and Rob started after Rob told him his behavior at the party was not appropriate. On December 16th, Nick was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances of multiple murders. Now, Rob and Michelle's other 2 children, Jake and Romy, released a joint statement on December 17th of 2025 calling their parents their best friends, close friends, and collaborators Albert Brooks, Billy Crystal, Larry David, Martin Short, Barry Levinson, Mark Shaman, and Ellen Zwabel released a statement which read in part, "There was no other director who has his range. He was always at the top of his game. He charmed audiences for years, and they trusted him." They also wrote, "Michelle and Rob Reiner devoted a great deal of their lives for the betterment of our fellow citizens. And they were a special force together, dynamic, unselfish, and inspiring. And we were their friends, and we will miss them forever." Former U.S. President Bill Clinton released a statement that read in part, "Hillary and I are heartbroken by the tragic deaths of Rob and Michelle Reiner. They inspired and uplifted millions throughout their work in television and film and television, and they were good, generous people who made everyone who knew them better throughout their act of citizenship in defense of an inclusive documentary of democracy, settling an example for us all." And former U.S. President Joe Biden praised the couple's contributions and said, "We take solace in knowing that their work will live on in generations for years to come." Now, Reiner was a notable figure in the development of mainstream American cinema and television. This is Spinal Tap, popularized by the mockumentary genre, and its use of improvisation was revolutionary for Hollywood film. Now, the movie would establish conventions that later filmmakers adopted in both cinema and television, particularly in comedy built around realism, a parody and unscripted performance. Its success also contributed to the wider acceptance of a mock documentary format in mainstream media, and it's also considered to be one of the greatest comedies of all time. And to speak the truth here, I have never saw Spinal Tap at all. Now, across the 1980s and 1990s, Reiner directed a series of films that became enduring cultural reference points in multiple genres, including the coming-of-age drama Stand By Me, fantasy romance The Princess Bride, and romantic comedy When Harry Met Sally. The Princess Bride is credited with having numerous phrases entered the regular lexicon. Another Reiner directed film, A Few Good Men, has been adjudged by some critics as being one of the best military courtroom drama films ever made. Now, When Harry Met Sally in particular helped redefine the modern romantic comedy through its balanced focus on male and female perspectives. It's considered to be one of the greatest romantic comedies of all time. Reiner has regularly been cited by critics as having one of the greatest directing streaks in Hollywood with his first 7 films. The bucket list popularized the eponymous term. 3 of Reiner's films, When Harry Met Sally, The Princess Bride, and The Soprano Type, have been selected for preservation by the National Film Registry for cultural, historical, and aesthetic contributions. Now some people might not know what a bucket list is. A bucket list is a list of things you want to do before you die. Um, and there's a long list of mine. I want to go overseas before I die. I do want to go on a boat, like an actual cruise ship, which I've never been on. We also, so speaking of that, not only did we have Rob Reiner die, but we also had Gil Gerard die. Gil Gerard was known for his role in Buck Rogers in the 25th Dynasty, or something like that, or 25th. That's not what I'm looking for. Hold on. We do have a few more days until December, till Christmas. Basically, I won't be working Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Like I said, I'm putting my videos out before then, because I will not be posting videos for those 2 days. Just like I will not post anything on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. We did have Peter Green die. Peter Green was known for his role in Pulp Fiction. He was only 60 years old. I think he was murdered too, but I'm not sure. We also had Mick Abrams die from Jethro Tull, who was the lead singer. Um, James Van Stone died. He was Okay, I'm trying to remember who he played in. I'm trying to remember who he played in It Chapter 2. Let me see. Okay, James Van Stone died. He was an American actor who is known for his role as Ziggy in the second season of the drama series The Wire, which I've never seen. He was in Generation Kill. He played the deputy in the supernatural horror film Sinister 1 and 2. Chester in he played the adult. Oh, okay, yeah, now remember. He played the adult Eddie in the film It Chapter 2, and he played Max in the Black Phone. He committed suicide by hanging himself on December 19th of 2025, but doesn't state why he would do that. But Greg Biffle, the NASCAR racer, has also died. He died in a plane crash. Um, he also had British actor William Rush die. He was 31, but no cause of death yet given. Sometimes they do that too. Like if they don't have a particular cause of death, they won't put it up. Yeah, here we go. Gil Gerard, American actor. He played Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. He was in Airport 77 and The Doctors. He was 82. Cause of death, cancer. Mike Campbell died. He was 61. Died from a heart attack. I don't think I remember him playing baseball, but obviously he only played for 9 years. Was a pitcher. Yes, I don't remember him. Okay, yeah. I usually keep up on my Cubs stuff, but obviously, because I'm a Cubs fan, but I do not remember his name. Lane Rogers died. Lane Rogers was a pornographic actor, died in a traffic collision. I don't think I know Lane Rogers. Okay, so Lane Vincent Rogers was born August 14th of 1994, was 31, was an American pornographic actor, YouTuber, Twitch streamer, and adult webcam model, formerly known as Blake Mitchell. It was a guy, okay, so, yeah, I don't remember that one either. I mean, I watch a lot of porn, but I don't remember that name. Anthony Geary died. Anthony Geary was in General Hospital, which is a show I've never seen and don't care to. You had Bob Hanna died. Bob Hanna was a baseball coach for Delaware, where he would coach from 1965 to 2000. Bob Hanna is inducted into the Delaware Sports Hall of Fame in 1998, but the News Journal ranked him as fourth on their 2023 list of the 125 greatest coaches in Delaware history. He would produce over 1,000 wins in his 35-year career, which is really hard to do when it comes to any sport. Oh, God damn it. You also had Jim Ward, who's an American voice actor. He voiced Ratchet and Clank and the Fairly Odd Parents, which is a show I've never seen and don't care to. But he was known for that. But that's about it for today. I don't have much more to go on. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you like, if you like the video or not. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. And also and leave a comment on what you guys think. And also give me ideas on what other videos you want me to do stuff on. And we'll go from there. And I'll see you guys next week.